Ladies and gentlemen, President Donald Trump has just won two big tariff negotiations, and I think it's important for us to know the details and what does this mean to the stock market and to the economy. And let's watch on, shall we? Well, love him or hate him, President Donald Trump's negotiation skill is really, really very good. I give it to him. Let's watch the details. So, as usual, this video is for education, entertainment, and not financial advice. Please remember hit subscribe for more important updates. Right now, everything is unfolding at the Tariff War side, and I think more importantly, the stock market is just going from strength to strength. A lot of things are happening. You do not want to miss any of my videos and my live stream. As a quick update, we have started locking up a lot of our funds away from hackers and scammers. And I will just say we have completed the exercise. And I would also like to remind everybody that you need to protect yourselves from scammers. The art of scamming right now has gone up many, many, many levels. It is not an easy thing to protect yourself. Please make sure you protect yourself from scammers. Use money lock or park money out of banks into very safe places. And I want to remind everybody that the video that we did showing us locking up money in OCBC and locking up money into endowers are not paid advertisements, okay? And whether paid or unpaid, these are not advertisement. This is meant to protect you guys. You can park money to any other banks, park money any other financial institution. I don't care. As long as you really safe protect your money away from hackers and scammers. Today's video, we will first update everybody on the tariff negotiation between US and Japan. So Donald Trump has just announced that he has struck a massive trade deal with Japan calling for 15% tariff. So President Donald Trump on Tuesday said that he struck a massive tariff deal that calls for 15% tariff on US import from the country. The president wrote on Truth Social that as part of agreement, Japan will invest $550 billion into US and which will receive 90% of the profits. He also said that Japan will open their country to trade, including cars, trucks, rice, and certain other agricultural products. The 15% tariff floated by Mr. Trump is somewhat lower than the 25% he earlier proposed, okay, or the 24% that was proposed on Liberation Day. In short, he anchored Japan at 25%, okay, and now he lowered it to 15%. Japan quickly take the deal, right? So this is what negotiations class call as anchoring, and it is a very normal negotiation technique that I'm surprised Japan fall for it. But regardless, okay, this is a huge win for Donald Trump and for US. So, of course, Donald Trump quickly go and publish on the Truth Social. He actually said this, okay, this deal, which is $550 billion, will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. There have never been anything like that. Perhaps most importantly, Japan will open their country to cars, trucks, rice, and certain agricultural product and pay US 15% for the reciprocal tariff. Now, just to be very clear, Japan does have a 10% tax as well. So, and more importantly, is that they have a lot of non-tariff barriers, and this is something US take very seriously. Well, Donald Trump said that this is very exciting time for USA, especially for the fact that we will continue to have a great relationship with the country of Japan, and basically he makan Japan inside out. So at this juncture, the Japanese government has not issued the deal. I think they must be feeling somewhat sore about it. And they do have a high-level representative from Japan in USA negotiating, to some extent begging, okay, the Americans for it, right? So this is a huge win for US. So Japan is US fifth largest trading partner according to the official stats. Japan bought about $80 billion worth of American goods last year, and US import $150 billion worth of Japanese goods. So you can see it's very uneven. So more than one third of US import from Japan were cars and car parts, your Toyota, your Honda, whatsoever. So as it stands right now, it's unclear whether those goods will be subjected to a 15% tax rate or the higher 25% rate that foreign cars and parts, I think it will be a 15% flat. Else, it's very difficult to monitor. So at this juncture, it looks like it's 15% and it's just free money for Donald Trump and his government. So I think it's a huge win. Okay, it's a huge win for US. So meanwhile, there is also another interesting win for Donald Trump, which is US and the Philippines. So Donald Trump announced that there's a trade deal with Philippines. Philippines will now face a 19% tariff. So he has actually announced that US have reached an agreement with the Philippines, setting a 19% tariff on the country's export. And he initially imposed 17% in April. Then he increased it with a threat to 20, and now settle for 19, right? So Philippines kena makan also, right? So the Philippines is going to open market with United States and zero tariffs. The Philippines will pay a 19% tariff. In addition, we will work militarily together without providing more details, okay, according to President Donald Trump. So President Marcos of Philippines was the latest foreign leader to visit Trump in order to secure or lower duties and seek to underscore the country's long-standing alliance with the US and to argue for better terms of trade. But frankly speaking, he didn't get much, okay? So from 20 down to 19, he kena makan, And in Hokkien, they say, kut ma bo chun, it's like makan until only the bones left. So, it is really very difficult to win Donald Trump in his negotiation, especially when US hold the negotiation power as the consumer. The US held a trade deficit with the Philippines of about $5 billion last year, with total trade at $23.5 billion according to US data. The Philippines have previously said that he could not offer the US a zero tariff, as Trump said Vietnam and Indonesia has done, because it will hurt domestic business, but was planning to increase the import of US farm goods, blah, 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 blah. In short, he can't win Trump. He can't win Trump. They cave in. So Trump said that it's a beautiful visit. We concluded our trade deal whereby the Philippines is going to open market with US with zero tariff. The Philippines will pay 19% tariff and call Marcos a very good and tough negotiator. That's not tough. You managed to get 19%, right? What's so tough? So then he now said, oh, United States is his country's strongest, closest, and most reliable ally. So I don't know what to say, right? It's people who pay him, he call them good friends and allies. Now, the big question mark is what's going to happen to China and US. That's the big one, okay? And it's likely that will be delayed. So Trump said that he may visit China for a landmark trip in a not so distant future, as Philippines has now distanced itself from Beijing after its election last November. The country may be tilting towards China. The country means Philippines, but we have untilted very, very quickly. So right now, it is very clear that the big boogeyman, okay, to Donald Trump is US, right? So everyone in US, lawmakers, whether from Republican or Democrats, everybody is very concerned about China, which is a close number two that's economically almost on par right now with US. So everyone is now just concerned about China. And let's see how that negotiation will turn out to be. Let's go back to the stock market, shall we? So right now, the S&P 500 has gone up again by a little. So technically, it's a new high again. The Nasdaq went down a bit as well. So I consider all this noise. The TLT also, I'll consider it noise with this kind of movement. So everything's stable, awaiting more news to come out. The news came out, I think it's Wall Street Journal came out that, why are the stocks up? Nobody knows. I'm actually surprised they came out with this. Because they were very surprised with so many bad news, it wasn't enough to sink the market. And in fact, the market now goes up strength to strength. So they talk about it, they say that, look at it, right? This year forced Sears to tie themselves in knots. Stocks came out strong on the back of Trump trade, okay? Then they plunged to nearly bear territory a week after liberation tariff. And even if the high tariffs on vital trade partners like EU and Japan are postponed again, They are already enacted, are the highest since 1930. Economists surveyed the journal now see a 33% odds of a US recession within a year compared to 22%, blah, blah, blah. All bad news, and yet the stock market just go up and up and up. And we're going to discuss this. The Goldman Sachs have now revised its target. We are now looking at 6,600 by year end. I think we are already very near there. I think we need left with 5% to hit the mark. I think we will hit it very soon. But if you go into the details, you'll realize that actually the stock market is going up because there is actually quite a series of resilient in the US economy. All the AI mega cap stocks are doing better and better. Everyone just believe AI is going to be the next thing. Nvidia, of course, is pushing all this up as well. Earnings season starts with a bang. With only 12% of the S&P 500 company reported, 83% have beaten earnings per share and revenue estimates. So all good news. Consumer sentiment and jobs market remain resilient. Okay, and Wall Street now expect a Fed cut by September, and that is meant to be a very good news if that were to happen. And retail investors are all in right now in the stock market because on the money market side, the returns are getting lousier and lousier. So right now, we don't just have the Max 7 or the Mega 7 stocks or tech stocks that are rising. We now have breadth. Even the Russell 2000 small cap stocks are on the verge of a massive rise as well. And deal making money, Wall Street activity all going up in a big way. The tariff are now gaining from the tariff negotiation are getting from strength to strength. All US winning, 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 winning. What can I say, right? With all these things that are happening, you notice there are no reciprocity right now. So I've actually said before, I think this is a big thing, right? So US is now winning on the tariff side, and we'll talk about it. I think as a key takeaway, I need to say this on the tariff war. Donald Trump enacted and threatened those tariff war is to reciprocate against other people's tariff. Okay, so all these countries has their own tariff and trade barriers already. He imposed all this is to bring down some of these barriers, and he did, So we cannot view this tariff war as a normal kind of trade war. So far, with all the tariff war that we have enacted on other countries, there are no reciprocal tariff back on the other side. In fact, he managed to bring all this tariff down a lot to zero. The only two biggies right now we're looking at is China and EU, right? We don't know yet. China and EU now looking at it. If this is not positive, then the trade war is over with US now winning. So the US stock market trajectory now look very good and is very resilient. Despite all these troubles, they are not over yet. Now, I must say, I don't quite like Donald Trump as a person, but he has proven himself very capable of anchoring his negotiation opponent and make them accept bad deals and make US win big deals. So the outcome will certainly be good for US from the perspective of budget deficit. Okay, it will certainly help to lower the budget deficit. It may or may not be good for the economy, and that we should reserve for another day. But the key question right now is that will this tariff bring about a sustained inflation or not? Or it's just a one-time, or maybe not even inflation. So these are developing news. I will spend some time discussing this in a live stream. So hit subscribe. Don't miss it, okay? And I'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.